Good Monday afternoon to you. It's 4 o'clock time for Sports for CLE. Hope you had a great weekend. Plenty of Browns to talk about. A little later in the show, Casey Kinnamon from Dog Pound Daily will join us. We'll talk plenty of Browns, and we begin by talking Browns. So tomorrow, HBO's Real Sports is supposed to have an interview with a couple of the accusers of Deshaun Watson in those 22 civil cases. Today, Tony Buzbee, the lawyer for all 22 of them, issued this statement regarding the HBO coverage of the Deshaun Watson case. As you read through it, these women are most brave and courageous I've ever met. Firm extremely proud to represent them during the filming process, and impressed with HBO and its HBO's Real Sports diligence and insistence on fairness. Despite our requests, HBO refused to provide any questions before they were intended to be asked. And with that, let's welcome in G. Bush. He is the host of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Also on the Barbershop, 92.3 The Fan, from 8 until noon. G. Bush, this is, and it's part of it. It's a public, this is very much a public relations move by the lawyer, Tony Buzbee, for the 22 defendants.
Yes, this is more along the lines of you're not going to hear anything that is going to be something that would be this wouldn't be opening arguments in a civil case, should I say. So this is just, one side of the argument. This is something to get, a couple of the plaintiffs out there to get their story out there. And it's just something to, present their side of the case. It's in like a lot of other things, you got a defense and you got, the people that are trying to prosecute it. So, it's one of those things where you see a lot of those on TV. We've saw people, Barbara Walters used to do them a lot back in the day. You go on maybe with people would fight to get the exclusive or whatever the case may be, Oprah or somebody. HBO is going to be presenting this one. So, I think this is one of those exercises where, some things that you'll hear in this will kind of make some people, pause a little bit. Some stuff may make people uncomfortable, but in general, I think with most of different things that we see in life, you'll see if you're already entrenched with Deshaun Watson, you think that, he hasn't done anything and the judicial system's already taken his course and the grand juries didn't indict him twice. You're probably not going to see this and say, oh, my goodness, I think he's guilty. On the other end of the spectrum, if you're a person who didn't like the move to go get Deshaun Watson, you're a person who doesn't believe, you're really sensitive to some of these type things, and you are already entrenched that, he's guilty of something, you're going to come away, with reinforced thoughts that, hey, yeah, something did happen here today. But I don't think it's going to sway too many people either way. You're either on one side of the spectrum or not, which is unfortunate because, I think, we could all learn a little bit from digging a little deeper into some of these stories. But, this is just their side to present. They are welcome to it, and it's part of the game. And I think this was right. And to be honest with you, this is part of what I think the attorney wanted to do. Like, he wants this to linger and hang over Deshaun Watson, and that's one of the parts of it. He wants to slowly drip out information. He wants to have the threat of maybe there's some more people out there that we could vet and bring them on as part of the almost a class action lawsuit type thing. But I think this is part of his strategy to kind of do this throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you. This is a quote from Rusty Hardin, that is Deshaun Watson's lawyer. This is from Pro Football Talk. And basically, Rusty Hardin, the lawyer, does not have high expectations for the finished product. I don't know what it's going to be like, but I'm not optimistic, Hardin told Mary Kay Cabot from the Plain Dealer and cleveland.com. G. Bush, I know you went into great detail on this topic from a YouTube show that you did. So folks that want the whole length of this can go and Google that. But as you look at this, it's a public relations thing right now that, that Buzbee is doing and that Hardin has to fight and that Deshaun Watson has to fight. When you looked at this pretty deeper, what'd you find?
Well, there's, one of the things I tried to go into it was because, like so many people, I'm just I'm a fan at the end of the day. I'm not a lawyer or an attorney or anybody. Um, but one of the things that I wanted to get was, I know a lot of this stuff is public record, and I know a lot of this stuff is out there to be had. I just wasn't I wasn't feeling like I was well informed, right? As a journalist or a media guy, I felt like there was information out there that was we could look and take a look at to kind of see both sides. One of the things that I kept coming back with was everyone just kept coming back with 22 accusations, and that's what the kind of the highlighted version 22. I can't believe them after 22 women said this. So what I wanted to do is go dig into it and say, okay, well, if there are 22 accusations, let me see what they say, and what is Deshaun Watson's side on this. And out of all of we've heard the women's and the accusations, but we didn't hear really what Deshaun Watson is, what went on, how it happened, what is his side of the story. And some of this stuff that I unearthed, I had to go back and it took me so long to go through it because I wanted to make sure my eyes were seeing what it was seeing. I ran it by a couple people. I kind of, looked at and tried to find corroborating documentation. And then I was finally comfortable with just kind of like coming out, breaking down what it said in his description of what he was saying. And I found that if you look at what Deshaun Watson is saying, there are some things in his testimony, just like the women's testimony, that are things lawyers have to say. There's a couple of things like, his lawyer kind of diminished the, I guess, the mental aspects of it, of the trauma they went through. I kind of threw that out because I said, hey, I can't really I can't judge somebody's trauma. Like trauma takes place in lots of different ways, and it manifests itself. It can be now, later, or down the road. So I kind of threw that out. So I was trying to find the median. I was trying to find the stuff that would give me some pause. And there were some things in the documentation in terms of, people admitting to other family members and friends that they would have not been doing this if it was not for money. There was two cases in that spoke of two individuals. I even read the redacted forms. I didn't want their names to be out there, even though you can find the unredacted. But just two individuals who basically said, hey, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the money. There was a couple other situations where they had went and told other people that they wanted to, work with Deshaun Watson even after the alleged incident happened. They have corroborating testimony from family members, from text messages and things like that. And for me, I just said to myself, that doesn't actually prove that, one side or the other is guilty or innocent. But what it does do is says, hey, I would like to hear more information about that inside of a civil suit. I wouldn't jump to conclusions just because his lawyer said that. But there are some things that I think should tell people that want to be well informed and want to be unbiased in the conversation to say, hey, I might want to hear that under testimony. I would like to hear that. And I think I should withhold judgment until the civil suits are out. And so that's just what I went to find the information. I wasn't coming in to try to find a winner or a loser or who's more guilty or not. I was just trying to come in and find some information, and that information was there. And if you want to just check it out, you can go just search Garrett Bush YouTube. Search Garrett Bush on there. It'll be there under the barbershop, and you can watch that and check it out. Take a look out for yourself.
Yeah, and again, it's an entire program, so go do that. And I appreciate you breaking that down, and it was really interesting, and that was actually some really good work. All right, let's take a look at this. So the offense kind of wrapped up the team building aspect of it in the Bahamas, a group picture, and it looks like they're getting ready to get to work. This is from Deshaun Watson's Instagram. Blessed to be a part of the Dog Pound. G. Bush OTAs start Tuesday, so tomorrow. The folks will be out in Berea getting ready to roll. How anxious you think they are to get on the football field and do some football?
Man, you think? Hey, listen, come on, man. Hey, you know how we are excited to get it back to the football field, man. We doing exposés and breakdowns of court hearings. That ain't what me and you do. We want to talk about. We want to get to the passing, the blocking, the tackling. That's what we want to do, man. And I'm sure if we sit here thinking about that in the media, guess what they want to do? They want to get to the same things that we want to do, and that's to get out there and play and win games. You know, Deshaun Watson is trying to get to know his teammates. You know, I had an opportunity to talk to Tim Couch a little bit today on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, and he was talking about just some of the things that go into trying to learn a playbook, just trying to learn a playbook from scratch, trying to get on the same page with your receivers, and just getting in a huddle and calling out things like far east Y scoop, trail XZ split smash level 3 on 5. You're like, whoa. What do you mean? So the things like that, you know, just getting out there, just learning the playbook terminology and stuff like that. I think, you know, things when you see those guys standing up there, you know, it is a little bit of a thing where, and I know some people don't like to say it, but when you playing team sports like that, you know, I know one of the things that they talked about and they told everybody in the huddle, look, hey man, and Deshaun Watson probably says this. He probably said, look, it's going to be a lot of talk. It's going to be a lot of talk about me, and that's on me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to put y'all in no more situations where you got to answer that, but we got to close the ranks, close the circles. We're going to hear a lot of stuff that the only thing that matters is the cats that's in these huddles. The only thing that matters is the people that's running with us, doing what we need to do to get, and it's important to say that because he has to tell his teammates, hey, I know you're going to take some stuff this year. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to let you know that right now, and I appreciate you taking that. But I'm going to tell you what, I'm not going to put you in that position, and I'm going to have y'all's back too. That's the stuff that really matters. He's not going to really learn the playbook and all that other stuff out there. You get that in camp. But that was just to let him know, let me fill out what kind of dude he is. Let me see what kind of leader I'm following as we have adversity. And I think that's what was important about that trip.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. All right, G. Bush and I are going to step aside, take a quick time out. Other side of the break, we'll talk a little bit about Jadeveon Clowney. Sounds like he is coming back. Reports are that he is re-signed with the Browns. Just has to put pen to paper. Sports4CLE. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Come back to go forward. Back to learning new things. Back to pursuing your dreams. Tri-C has flexible learning options to fit your life. And every year, more than 1,000 local companies provide Tri-C students with real-world learning. The right education can boost your lifetime earning power by hundreds of thousands of dollars. Start now with a college education you can afford. Tri-C, where futures begin.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine. We continue talking Browns with G. Bush from the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, as well as 92.3 The Fans Barbershop Saturdays from 8 until noon. Let's head to the voicemail of Truth and Reason. This one about the Browns' 1-2 punch on the defensive line.
Hey guys, just wanted to call in. Jadeveon Clowney was just re-signed. Wanted to know if you guys wanted to predict if Miles and Jadeveon would have more sacks than any other two-player defensive combination in the league. My money would be on yes. All right, thanks for the time. Have a good day.
G. Bush, that's a tough one. There's some good 1-2 punches, but certainly Clowney and Garrett are going to be in that conversation.
Oh, yeah. Listen, they're definitely going to be in that situation. And I really think when you break it down, you'll be able to find out and look and see that Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett bring some tremendous things to the table. If you're looking at it from a standpoint of saying, hey, we got Myles on this side, we got Jadeveon on this side, you look at what the athleticism they can bring to the table. I think what they can do also is when you're in your sub packages, they got all kind of cool names for them. They call it the Greyhound package or the race car package, right? And you're just basically trying to get your guys on the field. You're just basically trying to get your fastest, most athletic guys out on the field. You look at it, what can potentially be that. Chase Winovich is a guy I'm really high on. Now, when he's able to come in certain downs and distances, I like what they can do with him in nickel package. You can put Jadeveon inside. Myles Garrett obviously can play. I think he play anywhere up front. Myles Garrett. That's just a messed up part of it. See, Myles Garrett, people don't get it. Myles Garrett is like 285, man. And the fact that he's 285 and I think he's faster than everybody on the defensive line is ridiculous. Like that type of size, man, I haven't really seen that type of size and bend. But when you give an option to having Clowney on the other end as well, who's going to play the run well, and let me get to what the caller asked. Is they going to have the most sacks? I think they're up there. Anybody who plays on the other end of the TJ Watt, if he gets 5 or 6 sacks, they might be in the top few because TJ Watt gets you 19, 20 a year, right? So they'll probably be up there. But my thing is, I definitely got the Browns tandem in the top 2 or 3. Last year, Myles Garrett, I think had 15 sacks, 15 or 16. Jadeveon Clowney had 9 sacks last year. I think Jadeveon came back and said, look, man, if I can go ahead and the Browns can get to the Super Bowl, run deep into the playoffs, and I run my numbers up and I get 12, 13, 14, 15 sacks, then next year he could come back and say, hey, I need that 2 to 3 year deal. And somebody will overpay for that type of production if he can get it.
So he did sign a 1-year, $11 million, up to $11 million contract, did Jadeveon Clowney. And the other thing that's kind of interesting is Ian Rappaport reports that he turned down some more money, left some money on the table to come back, had 14 to 15 million a year offers from other teams on multi-year deals, but wanted to come back. There were also reports he wanted to come back to play with Deshaun Watson as well. The two played together in Houston, and that Jadeveon spoke highly of Cleveland when Deshaun Watson asked him about it.
See, this is the thing. I talked about it a little bit. I had a couple sources tell me that after the season, Jadeveon wasn't coming back. And so, you kind of have it under your hat. You're like, oh, man, that sucks. And this is a pretty good, this person is very reputable. And I'm like, oh, okay, he's not coming. It's within the locker room. And so when Deshaun Watson, the news broke that the Browns were in the top 3 to 4, they said, hold the horses, G. Bush. We might got something here with, I don't know if we can get Landry back, but Jadeveon Clowney he's interested. I'm like, okay. When they landed him, and I looked at his Twitter, I said, oh yeah, he's right back in the fold, man. He's at least interested. All we needed to do was close the door. The fans started getting on him like, hey, come on back. And then when Myles Garrett said, hey, come on, we got unfinished business, I thought it was a really good opportunity to get him back when Myles Garrett stepped up, because you look at it, man. I played defensive end, and I know how frustrating it is for you to be the most athletic and the best guy up front, and you're getting double teamed. Every time you look up, there's a guard touching you. If there's a tight end to your side, they're chip blocking you before they go on the route. They may even send it back over to your side and keep it. It's just not fun. It's ugly. But when you got a guy like Myles Garrett, and you got a guy who's that commands double teams, it puts you in a situation where now the guy we talked about, Perrion Winfrey on this show a lot. He has to be excited. Taven Bryan has to be excited. All these guys have to be excited. And I'm going to just throw it out there right now for you. Hey, and Ndamukong Suh, I'm just letting you know, big fella. We got a couple dollars for you, man. I call Andrew Berry up. Come on over here and get these singles. It's a single party out here. Come on, man. I know how it is, man. I know we'll work you back into shape. You don't got to come to camp. But I'm just saying, hey, we welcome you over here on the Browns D-line. Now,
you mentioned Myles Garrett. He's been active on social media with some reaction. All right, so first, his reaction to signing Jadeveon Clowney. This is Myles Garrett. A little bit of a wry smile.
Yep.
And then it's about damn time is what he says on Instagram. So leaving no doubt he was solidly in the corner of getting his opposite running mate there and going.
Yep. I echo the sentiment. About damn time. Because for me, now I can move forward. See, I was gonna say I was kind of scared. I'm like, listen, man, Dave, this is bad. They got the HBO thing coming out tomorrow. It's about to be crazy. We ain't got Clowney. Jarvis didn't come back. See, now I'm a little calmer inside. My stomach is settled. I'm ready to go. Now I'm willing to say, even if Deshaun Watson gets 4 games, look how this works out for us. Now, those first 4 games don't look so bad, do they? The Jets, you got a couple teams. Now, it's the NFL. We're not chalking any wins up right now. But first 4 games look well. And now look what we can do. Now we got the defense in tow. And the thing I'm really confident about and I love the most is this. Everybody that's coming back there in the second year of the system, you're not really teaching anything. Now, Joe Woods can come in and say, okay, Grant Delpit, okay, John the third, hey, come on, you guys know what we trying to do back here. Denzel, those guys know some of the things, the text and stunts and different things. Now you got basically the whole defense back. You got guys that played a lot, JOK and Newsome, second-year guys. Grant Delpit is 2 years outside of the injury. Now we ready to go because now we can, instead of implementing stuff and putting the training wheels on, now we can get out there and go. So those first 4 games, I think we can ride the defense. I think we can be heavy on riding the defense, stopping teams, and running the football, running some play action. I think we get right out of that 4 games if Watson get 4.
Yeah, the defense has the ability to be dominant. All right, this is kind of interesting as well. So along those lines, David Njoku on social media after the signing, David Njoku saying, I guess it's my turn. He could be the next one to get extended. The word is they've been in long-term extension talks. They franchised him, so that could be the next piece.
Hey, man, listen, go ahead if you got it. I don't know what kind of stimulus. Maybe the Browns got that PPP loan. I don't know if y'all got the stimulus money, but y'all giving out deals left and right. Yeah, we're going to sign Clowney. Even Baker's $18 million. We'll just let him sit over here. We'll eat that. I'm like, dang, they signing everybody. They signed Teller. They signed Batonio. They extended him. They gave Chubb some money last year. They just gave Denzel Ward a whole Brinks truck. I'm like, man, maybe they got it like that. Hey, man, you sign me up. I can't play nothing. I could talk for you, like maybe not even the sideline, just maybe, just like out in the parking lot.
You know what?
But I'll tell you what.
Yeah, they know.
Might be good, Dave.
They know how to work the cap. So you just keep working the cap the way you're doing it, and we'll continue to bring that talent back. G. Bush and I are going to step aside, take a quick time out. Other side of the break, we hear from a national pundit. He'll tell us what he thinks the Browns can do if Deshaun Watson plays most of the season. Sports4CLE, be right back. Stay with us.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Thanks for buying a fishing license. I want you to picture all the great things this simple purchase does, like building public boat ramps, keeping local waters clean, and maintaining a healthy fish population.
What's Mom doing?
When you buy a fishing license, you do a lot. Every dollar protects and maintains your local waterways for future generations to enjoy. Visit takemefishing.org.
We continue talking Browns with G. Bush. So Dan Orlovsky from ESPN's Get Up had this to say about the Browns if Deshaun Watson plays most of the games this year.
If Deshaun Watson plays 14 games plus, they're a Super Bowl contender. They're a bona fide division champion and Super Bowl contender. Last time we watched Deshaun Watson play football, 2020, the best quarterback in all of football with the worst running game in football. Now he's going to Cleveland, and he has the best running game, or one of the best running games in football. But if he plays 12 games, Dan, or 12 or less, they don't have a chance because the division is too good, the conference is too good. But if he gets 14 games in, they got a chance to knock off a team that has an MVP in Baltimore. They got a team, or a chance to knock off the team that represented the conference last year in the AFC when it comes to the Cincinnati Bengals. He's that good of a player. Dominant offensive line, two good receivers in Amari Cooper and their draft pick David Bell, really good tight ends, a defensive line that's active, a secondary that's young and talented. If he's able to play a good amount of games, they can win that division and go to the Super Bowl.
And G. Bush, you saw the Browns, one of the favorites as far as the odds go. I get where he's going with it, but if the first 4 games are winnable with Jacoby Brissett, I believe.
Yes, they are. And if think about it, if you change a couple of games around there, you're looking bad. If you get, say for instance, you get the Chargers, you mess around and get one of the division teams early. A couple years ago, they were giving us Pittsburgh or Baltimore. It seemed like the first game of the season. I'm like, man, this is crazy. But look at it. I look at it, and sometimes I just don't. Sometimes you, as a Browns fan, you don't want to just jump out there because the Browns have supposed to have been in the Super Bowl how many years in a row? Like now, like even going back to when they got Odell Beckham Jr., we was like, oh, Super Bowl. Then the year later, we turned around in 2020. We followed that up with a good year. We thought we had the Chiefs beat. Then last year we take another drop. People talk about Super Bowl and the team is loaded, but the difference is the quarterback. Before we was hoping Baker was going to take the step, right? Now we already got a guy that already took the step. He's already there. He's already become that dude before he got here. Add the fact that you got one of the most potent running games. Add the fact that your defense is being solidified, and the fact that you got weapons. And I just keep saying Amari Cooper, man. Amari Cooper would have been our best receiver last year. Facts. Like, he would have been our best receiver last year. I mean, he's a better receiver than we've had in a long time. We got tight ends. We got running backs. It's just about them putting it together. I'll say this. These games, I got all the respect. I got all the respect in the world for the Kansas City Chiefs. I got all the respect in the world for the Bills. And we know the Cincinnati Bengals and the Ravens aren't going to go nowhere. But the Cleveland Browns, roster for roster, position for position, none of those teams can say that on paper that they're just better than the Browns. It's just about who goes out and plays better that day. Because if you look at everywhere, especially at quarterback, none of those guys can say I'm head and shoulders better than the Browns. And I think that this is going to be a heck of an AFC, and it's going to be beautiful to watch in the playoffs.
Here's an interesting one as well. This is from the Bleacher Report. So ranking the NFC top dark horses to lead major offensive categories. And for passing yards goes Derek Carr from the Raiders, Deshaun Watson from the Browns, and Kirk Cousins. So that's how well thought of Deshaun Watson is as a quarterback, a dark horse to have the most passing yards in the NFL.
Well, if he don't get, say for instance, he don't get a suspension, right? They wait it out till next year. He has an opportunity. He got an opportunity to and I'm gonna tell you this. He has an opportunity with this roster. He could win MVP. Now it'll take a long time. Some people might not want to vote for him, but let me give you this. the Cleveland Browns are going to have one of the best running games, and by far, they're going to let this dude go out here and do his thing. They're going to let him go do his thing. And if they got a team that you're looking at is trending to 4-0 going into the fifth game, 3-1 going into the fifth game, and he's playing good ball, and they got the Buccaneers coming to the place, you start to get into your division games, people are going to have to start to give that up. There's nothing you can do about it. And the NFL is going to have a decision, because I'll tell them like this. The Cleveland Browns are going to be good. It's up to you to decide what y'all going to do with PR. Like, the Browns will be good next year if Deshaun Watson plays games. So we can hope and wish, and maybe the Browns slide. No. It's not going to happen. They're too good this year, especially given the fact that they look like they are planning on being good, because they're going after guys. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go out and we talked about receivers. I wouldn't even be surprised if they go get another receiver. I'm going to be honest with you. Will Fuller's still hanging around out there. There's other guys that you can get that solidify, and I think they're going for it. I think they're going for it the next couple of years. And you wouldn't be going for it if you bring Clowney and all the rest of these guys. So they're going to be good.
Yeah, and that receiver, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Will Fuller, who wants to be reunited. Let's stay on the wide receiver topic. So the best kept secret from each and every NFL team. This again via Bleacher Report. For the Browns, they have wide receiver Donovan Peoples-Jones. Has made big plays throughout his first two seasons, hauled in 48 passes, 901 yards, 5 touchdowns, saw a significant increase in his snap count, 34% in 2020, 77% in 2021. Might have been force-fed that a little bit, but I get it. A quarterback like Deshaun Watson will make use of a target like Donovan Peoples-Jones.
So we can roll this. We can save this. What is it? It is May 23rd at 3:34 ish, somewhere around there on Eastern Standard Time. I'll let you know this. Donovan Peoples-Jones will be looked at as a very nice number 2 receiver by the end of this year. I'm just gonna put it down right there. When you get a guy like Deshaun Watson, what's gonna happen is, he's gonna get in there and he's gonna start to realize, wow. You know what? The ball. Every time I turn around, the ball's on the money. Wow, man! Every time I look up, he's extending plays. I can run my. If Donovan Peoples-Jones can stay healthy and just be able to stay out there and not have any crazy injuries, he's gonna have 700-800. He'll have his best year of his career. He'll have his best year as a professional this year. He'll be a bona fide number 2, and they'll look at him like, wow, this guy really took a step. I think he and Grant Delpit will be looked at as the guys that will be, when you say, wow, why are the Browns this many games in front of or why are the Browns in first place, or why are the Browns leading the division? The first 2 people you'll talk about is Grant Delpit and the way he's come back. He looks like he's playing from LSU. And Donovan Peoples-Jones will be the guy that says, man, this guy, he was a 5-star talent guy coming out of high school. He just turned it on. Trust me, he'll be that dude because when you get a good quarterback, they bring out all that stuff in you.
Yeah, and you can see it. You can see the pieces there for Donovan Peoples-Jones. G. Bush and I are going to step aside, take one more time out, other side of the break. We'll turn our attention to the defensive side of the ball. We'll look at who some folks think is going to have a breakout season on defense. Sports4CLE, be right back. Stay with us. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine. We continue talking Browns with G. Bush from the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show and 92.3 The Fan. Let's head back to the voicemail. Actually, we'll get to that in a minute. Let's listen to Keyshawn Johnson. Keyshawn from KJM talking about how good this Browns defense can be.
If that defense can play to its potential, it can be one of the top 3 to 4 defenses in all of the National Football League next year. Not only do they have those 2 guys as top picks, You also got to look at other players, and Denzel Ward was a top 4 pick. Then you got to look at other guys that have been there that were top picks for that team. The Greedy Williamses of the world, the Delfonts of the world. Those guys come to the party and come to play. That defense could make some noise.
And G. Bush, he's referring to Garrett and Clowney being number 1 picks overall, the 4th pick overall for Ward. But they've played like it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can have number 1 picks. There's a lot of people they draft number 1. They don't never turn out to be nobody. So, I love the fact that the Browns have a lot of high-priced people, but I love it more that they can play. When you look at what they've given and what they've done, and I look at, we talked about it, I'm going to switch it up just to show you how cool and how much talent they got. Look at, I talked to you about Grant Delpit and how he was going to be a guy. Newsome played a bunch of corner last year, played a bunch of corner. He's a guy now. Look, and now that you have an opportunity, he played so well. They was like, oh, Troy Hill, we're gonna let you go back to L.A. Troy Hill, it worked. we cool. We're gonna draft Emerson. He's a big corner. You can move him inside or outside. Greedy Williams looks like he's back to form. He looked like he's back, and he did some nice things last year. Denzel Ward, but let's take a look at J.O.K. J.O.K., before the ankle injury, look at what he was able to do. I mean, this guy was just a Swiss Army knife, just running around blocks, getting the quarterback down, sacking the quarterback. Now you got this guy in his 2nd year. He's put on a little more weight. He's going to be able to have a guy. He knows the system. He's reading and reacting out there. Now look at this. Everybody, those 3 guys between Delpit, and whether it's Newsome, and you're going to have JOK, all of those guys were young guys, didn't really get any minutes. Now, guess what? Those guys are experienced. Those guys are going to get all the reps playing starters. And now look at you. Now those guys are going to be people that are flying around. And the thing that people underestimate on this team is the team speed on defense from the Cleveland Browns is probably top 3 in the league. It has to be. When your ends are Clowney and Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, one of the fastest cornerbacks to come out of the draft, and then you got one of the fastest linebackers in the game in JOK. I think the team speed is crazy for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, and you go right into our next topic, CBSSports.com. 6 players poised for a breakout season in 2022. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. And G. Bush, I said it all last year. The more I saw him on the field, the more I wanted to see him used more and given different things to do. He can do everything.
Listen, Joe Woods, man. If you're listening out there, if you're listening to the program, Joe, listen. We need more JOK on the field. We need, just like, and then, you can pass this note. We've been wanting this for a couple years. We wanted more Chubb and Hunt on the field, but we're going to ask you this year, hey, we need more JOK. I know you like to use him on 3rd downs and the nickels and stuff, but I need him to be moving around. I love the way he blitzes. I love the way he comes flying off the edges. I love what you can do with him. I like it. You go watch him and watch the Bears film. The Bears film, when Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett were in the backfield having a field day, watch JOK, because he's back there a lot too. I need to see him. I would like him to be a 3rd down player or a 3-down player, shall I say. I know you can't. He's a little small. You don't want to put him up there all the time. But I would like to see him way more than I did last year. He's going to be able to go. I think JOK is going to be a breakout player where his Madden rating going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
He might, Madden, put him at the 90 speed is not too crazy. At least 89 speed on the Madden. Come on now.
Yeah, I'm with you. And you know what? Get a couple of those D tackles and keep those blockers off that guy so he can run around and create some havoc. All right, before we let you go, this is from Emily Mayfield's Instagram, and I'm going to ask you to be a sleuth. All right, now it looks like she's wearing kind of Pittsburgh Steeler-ish colors with the cap and that, but. And people have kind of noted the brewery, Snowtown Brewery, which is really, really, really close to Seattle, Washington. So there you go. Seattle, Washington, wearing Pittsburgh Steeler colors What's Emily Mayfield trying to tell us about Baker there, G. Bush?
Hey, man, I'm gonna be honest, man. I think Emily just trying to support her dude, man. She just out here trying to eat a chicken wrap or a turkey bacon wrap. She just like, yo, we out here just trying to enjoy a brew. Now people, oh my gosh, let's read into that. What that? I don't like that color. I'm like, man, the woman is out here supporting her husband, man. Like, hey, shout out to her, man. Shout out to Baker, man. Hey, man, that man, I'm all for it. If you out in Seattle, clap it up. Hey, Seattle, come on, make that deal. Come on, man. Let's get it done. Quit. Listen, because they've talked to Pete Carroll. I don't know what he's up there doing, but they've talked themselves into Drew Lock. We like Drew Lock. Listen, that means you trying to draft in the first 3 picks next year. Maybe you want the number 1 pick, but no one talks themselves into Drew Lock like that. Go ahead and make the deal. Let's get it done, man. Come on, man. We ready to make a deal, bro.
I like Drew Lock a lot, just not as my quarterback of an NFL team. And I hope Baker lands on his feet. I think he can play in the NFL. So I wish him no ill will whatsoever.
Yeah, man. Shout out to him, man.
G. Bush, as always, man, thanks so much for the time and the insight. I appreciate it very much.
Anytime, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day, man.
All right, G. Bush, make sure you follow him on Twitter. He is also the host of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. You can catch that from 11 to 1 daily, Monday through Friday on YouTube. Also 92.3 The Fans. The Barbershop, 8 until noon, 92.3 The Fan. We're going to step aside, take a quick time out on the side of the break. We continue talking Browns. Casey Kinnamon from Dog Pound Daily, straight ahead on Sports4CLE. Stay with us.
Come back to go forward. Back to learning new things. Back to pursuing your dreams. Tri-C has flexible learning options to fit your life. And every year, more than 1,000 local companies provide Tri-C students with real-world learning. The right education can boost your lifetime earning power by hundreds of thousands of dollars. Start now with a college education you can afford. Tri-C, where futures begin.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine. We continue talking Browns here on Sports4CLE. This is an article from Dog Pound Daily, Casey Kinnamon, who is going to join us. 3 players who benefited the most from the Browns re-signing Jadeveon Clowney, as we mentioned earlier in the show, a 1-year, $11 million deal to return to the Browns. Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome, the cornerback duo, first. Then you also have the edge rusher, Alex Wright, the young fella. And then the other edge rusher, his running mate, Myles Garrett, 1, 2, and 3. With that, let's welcome in Casey Kinnamon. And Casey, we kind of ran through that article. Take us through the thought process as far as the guys that benefit from having Clowney back on this team.
Well, we'll start with the cornerbacks. And cornerback is the most difficult position to play on defense, period. You know, you're on an island. All the rules are set up against you. So anything that makes your job easier, man, you got to be all for it. And with Clowney coming back, I mean, what are quarterbacks going to have now? 2.7 to 3.2 seconds to get rid of the ball. And that's under duress, you know. So also, it just takes away routes. There's certain long developing pass plays that are going to be completely off the menu. And I think that's hugely beneficial for the cornerbacks. You know, it takes away all the variation you can see from a wide receiver. So to get Clowney back opposite of Garrett just gives the Browns a crazy pass rush coming off the edge, and that could do nothing but help your cornerbacks.
The other guy is Alex Wright. So that's a guy from UAB, non-Power 5 guy. How does Clowney benefit him, do you think?
Huge. Like, everyone's excited about the high ceiling that the Wright brings with his physicality, but he was a third-round pick for a reason. He needs time to develop, time to hone his skills. And getting Clowney is going to give him just that. Gives him the cushion he needs to get to be the player he needs to be. And it's also going to allow him to get on the field to do the things he does well earlier, because he, like Clowney, has that inside-outside versatility. So you're going to see packages like the NASCAR package or race car, where you're going to kick Clowney inside, or maybe even Wright inside and keep Clowney outside. But I think the biggest thing is they're very similar. They're lengthy players. They have great length, violent hands. They have that inside-outside versatility. So allow Wright to watch how Clowney goes about his business. Now, I don't think Clowney's going to be a guy who vocally coaches up Wright, but just to see how he goes about his stuff, to see how he prepares for games, that could do nothing but benefit that young man and allow him to actually develop into the long-term running mate to Garrett long-term next season and beyond.
And the other thing is one of the things that the knocks on Wright coming out was didn't set the edge well. That's something you want to know how to set the edge. Pay attention to number 90.
Yeah, that's a perfect person to shadow, to learn how to play physical, play down the line, and especially attacking the running game.
Yeah, the other one is Garrett, and that might be the most obvious of the three.
It's the most obvious thing I'll ever write. And I'll preface it with this: Garrett would be excellent with anybody on the opposite side. But to truly unlock his potential, you have to have someone there that offenses respect. Someone that can set the edge, be fierce against the run, and is a good pass rusher in his own right. The easiest way to get away from Garrett is just to go away from Garrett. Well, that's not an option if Clowney's on the field. So it's going to do nothing but allow them to hit the ground running. They've already got a season under their belt. They know what they bring to the table. They're going to do nothing but feed off each other. And I expect them to get off to a faster start this season than they even did last year.
All right, let's head to the voicemail of Truth and Reason. This one about that Browns defensive line.
Hey guys, this is Dylan from Oregon. Seems like no matter how good of an edge rusher you have, a mobile quarterback can just kind of evade them if he wants to. But when it comes to internal pressure, Miles is going to be generating that edge pressure. You need someone up the middle so that really the quarterback has nowhere to go. So I was calling to basically allude to the fact that even if the Browns were not able to sign Jadeveon Clowney, perhaps they were better suited looking at interior linemen such as Ndamukong Suh or other options for the future. Because I feel like that would be a better dynamic duo tandem between Miles and some interior guy rather than Jadeveon. All right, thanks for the time. Have a good day. Bye.
All right, as always, we appreciate all of the voicemails. Another guy that is available is Akeem Hicks, is listed as the #1 remaining available free agent on the market. So let me ask you this, Casey Kinnamon. Akeem Hicks or Ndamukong Suh? Who fits better? Who gives the Browns more if you're looking between those two with Clowney and Garrett?
I'm going to break a table from pounding it so hard for Akeem Hicks, but it's Akeem Hicks. Like, Suh is a good player, don't get me wrong, but he's a 3-tech. This team is chock full of 3-techs. They need someone that can kick down and play bully ball and eat up blocks and free up linebackers up the middle. And Akeem Hicks is that dude. I just don't see a way this defensive line can go into the season with the style they have of defensive tackle. They got a bunch of 3-techs. If you were to name starters today, Sheldon Day and pick a guy, I think Winfrey can definitely be a starter, but to ask him to do that from day one might be a little unfair. This team, if you were to rank defensive lines throughout the league, especially the interior of the Browns, they're probably bottom 5, to be honest. You're counting on a bunch of guys to just step up. And we don't know that they have that in them. Maybe behind the scenes they know, and they're banking on, Togiai or Elliott or someone to be that guy. But on paper right now, they don't have it. I would go out and get Akeem Hicks in a heartbeat, and I would roll with that.
The other thing about the defensive tackles, by and large, like Akeem Hicks, they don't get as much money as the edge rushers do because they don't put up it is a blue-collar, not a lot of glamour type of job.
Yeah, for sure. It's the dirty work. But you don't need, for Akeem Hicks, don't even need to look further than last year's game against the Browns. He gave Wyatt Teller all he could handle. And you know what kind of player Wyatt Teller is. He had his hands full all game with Hicks. Hicks still has a ton in the tank. He's 32, as opposed to Sue, who's 35, you know? So I think if they go after, I think Sue's more of a name. You know, I think you'd be paying more for an attitude than the actual player itself, and diversifying skill set that Hicks would bring to that defensive tackle room.
All right, before we take a quick break, OTAs start tomorrow. Football kind of stuff. How excited? What are some of the things that you'd keep your eye out for at OTAs?
For me, it's how Deshaun Watson can mesh with these wide receivers. You know, we don't really know what we have in the wide receiver room outside of a player or two. So to see, this is where that chemistry gets built. Now, I know it's shorts and shoulder pads, and it doesn't mean anything as far as long-term success, but you need to get that chemistry built now. You need to get that foundation. And this is where we start to see, you know, does he have a connection with Schwartz, or do they need to go get someone who could be that deep threat? You know, this is where you work that kind of stuff out and they get a good feel for it before, you know, camp starts later in July.
Casey Kinnamon from Dog Pound Daily and I are going to step aside, take a quick time out. Some more OTA talk. We'll also talk some Baker Mayfield, Sports for CLE. We'll be right back, still talking Browns. Stay with us.
Come back to go forward. Back to learning new things. Back to pursuing your dreams. Tri-C has flexible learning options to fit your life. And every year, more than 1,000 local companies provide Tri-C students with real-world learning. The right education can boost your lifetime earning power by hundreds of thousands of dollars. Start now with a college education you can afford. Tri-C, where futures begin.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine. We continue talking Browns. We mentioned OTAs, organized team activities, start tomorrow out in Berea for the Browns. It is mandatory, or it is not mandatory, it is voluntary. Adam Schefter tweets this out. Baker Mayfield will not be attending the Browns' voluntary OTAs that begin tomorrow, and that was to be expected. Casey Kinnamon, certainly no surprise. Although if Baker wants to force the Browns to kind of hurry up and trade him, I could see him coming and just not being a distraction, just saying, I just want to play football.
Yeah, I can see that angle, but I think it's his benefit to not make any extra waves, because that's kind of be the thing with Baker now is what kind of baggage does he bring? And that's for any prospective team as well, not just the Browns. So to show that he's not going to be that guy to make, you know, any extra noise that doesn't need to happen, I think is beneficial for him going forward, and the Browns as well, just to not have those extra storylines that don't need to be there right now.
Yeah, it's fair enough. All right, let's head to the voicemail of Truth and Reason. This one about Baker Mayfield.
Dave, I would like to comment on the time Baker Mayfield has been a Cleveland Brown. As a player, I have been a big supporter of his because of the effort he has displayed as an athlete. He has taken his ability to the limit and beyond, and this I commend him for that. Now, on to the negative Baker. He did not think first before he spoke, which got him into a lot of trouble, starting back with the Duke Johnson situation. And Baker, as a teammate and leader at quarterback, threw him under the bus. So in closing, Baker and the Browns have burnt too many bridges. So all this must end now, and both sides need to take the high road and get a separation resolved. even if it means both sides take a big hit financially. Then and only then can both sides get back to playing football. And now with Clowney signing, let's concentrate on a Super Bowl run.
As always, appreciate all the voicemails. Casey, something just occurred to me. Until the last season, Baker was a guy whose teammates really wanted to play for him. And then it's almost like he kind of, I don't want to say he lost the locker room, but he lost a section of the locker room.
Yeah, I think it's an old adage, like, be who you can afford to be. And Baker, given his play last season, couldn't afford to be the guy that he was being with how vocal he was being about certain things. And like, I agree with the caller. Like, he did on the field, he gave everything he had. That's very admirable. But there's always that extra thing with Baker. And like, you either love him or you hate him. Like, he's very polarizing in that respect. And when the locker rooms turned away from him, that was a big sign that things, weren't going to be able to be mended quite so easily.
Yeah, and it was quick. It was very quick as well. All right, we're going to head back to the voicemail of Truth and Reason about the Browns quarterback situation.
Hi, my name is Tara Thomas, and I'm calling from Cleveland, Ohio. I watch the show every day, and I think it's great. But I would like to know, could you please explain to me how Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback than Jacoby Brissett? Thank you. I would love to see this on the show.
All right, and thanks for watching the show. I'll let you answer that. But we've had a number of people who say if you look strictly at quarterback play, Baker Mayfield's a better quarterback than Jacoby Brissett. What are they breaking down, and what are they saying that way?
Well, Baker's got more experience. You're looking at someone with 59 starts as opposed to Brissett's 37. He has 92 touchdowns to, I think, 56 interceptions, something like that. And Brissett somewhere, I think, his quarterback record is obviously it's just below 500. But Brissett's is significantly below, like 7 games below 500. But I'm looking at skill sets and the type of athletes they are if I'm looking at these two quarterbacks. They're very similar athletes as far as the metrics, as far as 40 time, broad jump, all those things. Baker's 6'1", if you believe that, and 215 pounds, while Brissett's a big boy. He's 6'4", 235 pounds, And I just think that the Browns were wanting a backup who was just going to put his head down, go about his business every week as if he was the starter and not make any waves. And I think they got exactly what they wanted in Jacoby Brissett.
And again, he's a guy that can use his legs a little bit. He has his skill set is similar to Watson's. It's not as elite as Watson's, is the way I would say it. Look, Baker Mayfield is a very good quarterback. He's not the type of quarterback the Browns were looking for. You need a lot more around him, and you really have to this offense that Kevin Stefanski wants to run, it was not compatible. It really wasn't.
Yeah, it became a square peg in a round hole scenario where they were trying to force things. And there were things that he lost. They were like, if you look back to 2020, he was excellent on those bootlegs, and whatever, the shoulder injury, the lower leg injury over the course of the season, he lost that ability. And that's a huge part of this offense. And he also didn't offer the ability to tuck it and run, and really threaten the defense in that way. Brissett will give the Browns that if he's forced to play.
Casey Kinnamon from Dog Pound Daily. As always, Casey, appreciate the time and the insight. Thanks very much.
Hey, anytime. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Casey Kinnamon, make sure you read him, Dog Pound Daily. That's going to do it for this edition of Sports for CLE. We will see you back here tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Scheduled guest, Mary Kay Cabot, beat reporter for the Browns as well as cleveland.com. And Brad Ward from BrownsWire.com and the All Eyes on Cleveland podcast. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock right here on Sports for CLE. We'll see you then. Remember, Browns OTAs begin tomorrow out in Berea. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow at 4 on Sports for CLE.